Welcome to MedMen. My name is Pim, that's Andy, and today we are going to talk about GTM and specifically whether GTM is a buzzword. So Andy, what's your take on that?
I think the term GTM is being used as a buzzword. I definitely don't think that bringing the entire go-to-market together as one team, one goal, one aim is a buzzword. That's incredibly important. But I think that nowadays a lot of people are just putting the term GTM onto things. You know, if you think back to MEDDICC 1, which was, I forget, like what, 3 and 4 years ago, I remember we had this important part of MEDDICC where we were talking about how MEDDIC could work for the entire something team. And we had this debate where we were saying we should say the go-to-market team, but we were saying people won't know what that means. People weren't using the term GTM, go-to-market then. And we almost said revenue team. In fact, I think in some of the early versions of when we were talking through what we were saying there, we said, MEDDIC works for the whole revenue team. Oh no, let's lean in here. Let's go for go-to-market. So in that short space of time when we were thinking about it as something that people probably wouldn't understand fully, we'd have to explain a little bit like we did. Now everyone knows. And it's to the point now where you sort of see it thrown onto things. Instead of SKO, it's GKO. Instead of, I've even seen account executives now calling themselves GTM, just GTM, which for me is like the peak of the buzzwordness, because unless those account executives are doing marketing, they are doing product marketing, channel, they're doing SDR-ing, they're doing selling, and then they're acting as, customer success as well, because that's part of go-to-market, and they're doing renewals and upsells and looking after customer success, then they aren't GTM. They are in the sales part of it, which is, of course, a very important part, but it's not just about selling and closing, is it?
Yeah, I think the only scenario in which that would be true for them to be GTM is like in a 3-person startup where sales takes on like the other activities as well, right? But typically it's not the case. And you did make a good point about like the events that you would see, kickoffs, right? It's like slapping on the letter G so that it's the go-to-market kickoff rather than the sales kickoff doesn't necessarily change it unless you do the work, right? Unless you unite your go-to-market team by way of having that event and give them a common language to act with.
Yeah, and that common language is not, like we've talked about before, is not just, giving one language. It has to be common, meaning that it's used by everyone outside of your organization, inside your organization, so you can hire for it, so people understand what you're talking about. But then, of course, used across the whole customer lifecycle and across every go-to-market team to make it truly common. And that's where I think there's some great movements out there, some great consultancies out there that are doing things like creating sort of operating systems for go-to-market and that type of thing. But if they're using piecemeal of different things, they're talking over marketing and product, they're talking about problem statements and pain and that sort of thing, and then we get to the actual sales team, they're talking about, I don't know, something else, a different word, negative consequences, and you get somewhere else and they're talking about the customer success team are talking about value. You're not creating a go-to-market team. You're creating lots of individual teams that you're putting under an umbrella that isn't a go-to-market team. They're not in the same motion.
And the thing that you bring to market,
yes,
the actual product and the product team as part of that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I haven't seen this much. This is something we, going back to what I said before about where we sort of feel like something should be a way, but then to begin with, we find ourselves explaining it. When we talk about the go-to-market team, we talk about it being, starting with product ideation, because what are you going to take to market if you're not going to connect product ideation to what you're actually taking to market? Then that's not go to market. So we include product all the way through to, all the way through the life cycle to customer success. But I feel like every time I talk to someone about our view of go to market, we're having to kind of go, by the way, we mean this whole thing, not just the middle part. So we're talking about the product team and we're talking about the customer success team who, the other thing that people get wrong as well is, of course, they think that's the start and the end. Well, no, it's a cycle, right? So it's sure, of course it starts with product ideation, but once that goes all the way through to delivery to customers, we want to make sure that we're connecting the product team there so that they're looking all the way through the customer lifecycle. So they're saying, this product idea, how is it resonating in the field? What's winning, what's losing, what are the strengths of it, what are the weaknesses? And that's decision criteria, right? What is it that customers want? What is it that's helping us win? What is it that's missing? When we lose, what is it that's missing from the decision criteria that we can supply? And all the way through to being delivered as well, and then what value customers are getting from what you've delivered, which means that you can complete that metric cycle. You can say, here's our hypothesis of value on this new product or this new feature we have, all the way through to selling that, through to delivering that and saying, yes, we got it right. We actually delivered the value that we promised, so that when you go to talk to, as a go-to-market team, when you go to talk to the new customers, you don't just have a hypothesis of value, you have a true story of value that you can point to of an existing customer where you've delivered it. Whether you mention their name or not, you still have those proof points.
Yeah, I see how you're tying like the entire go-to-market team there together across the full customer lifecycle, right? And this is where it's getting powerful. And now we all know that there are people out there saying, well, you know, MEDDIC is just a qualification tool. It doesn't do that. There's a red phone in front of me 20, 30, 40 years ago. Like, you wouldn't send like emails. You wouldn't watch this very episode on your phone either. You can do that today. Things evolve. Things get better. Not all MEDDIC is equal. The way that you deploy it may not be equal, but the most powerful variations that we see out there today, right, in real life, are versions like this, right, where the entire go-to-market team is using this to together have a much bigger impact on their customers as they use a common language. And the product example is such a powerful one, because if everyone is using the same language and they can say like, you know, this is why we might be losing out there still, or why we might not add maximum value for our customers, so let's fix that.
Yeah.
And suddenly you have like a very direct way of addressing those things that normally, or in the old world for that specific customer, would have taken much more time to get to that point, and maybe some of your rivals would be ahead of you already, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly right. So GTM, go-to-market, not a buzzword if you think about it for its purpose. Aligning the entire go-to-market team, including product, all the way through to the post-sales team, everyone that's pointing towards the customer, everyone that's like focused on creating value for customers. It's not a buzzword if you include all of those people. If you're just putting GTM in front of it because it sounds better than revenue did or sales did before, it's a buzzword in that context.
Okay, well, cheers to GTM done properly then.
Cheers.
Cheers.